Tennessee playing Pittsburgh. It's Thursday night football plus so much more. I'm going to take apart that game in the daily presidential address. Andy Lang has got a prop bet for us, and we got so much more to talk about today on Thursday's Wager Talk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman. Teddy is my co-host, and Marco D'Angelo joins us right off the bat. How are you, Marco?
Never better. Prez, glad to be here. Morning, Teddy.
Morning to you, Marco. Let's talk a little college football right off the top. Obviously, NFL on center stage tonight, but there's plenty of college tonight as well as all weekend long. And one of the games that caught your attention was Utah against Arizona State. This one, 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific time on Saturday. Right now, look at the Wager Talk live odds screen. This game opened as high as Utah minus 15 over at DraftKings, as low as 11 at Westgate. Well, the Westgate number looks like the right number. It's sitting at 11 right now. Total 41.5, 42. What do you want to do with the Utes and the Sun Devils?
Well, Teddy, you know the phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's where I'm going to go with this one. If you remember last week when I was on the show with you guys, we talked about Ohio State at Wisconsin, and my whole premise of that play was I was fading Ohio State coming off the big game with Penn State. And I cited the examples, and it was a small sample size, but I pointed out that when Oregon, Washington had their big showdown the following week, both of those two teams lost against the spread. Well, guess what? Last week, Ohio State, although it was only by a half a point, they lost to the spread. And oh, by the way, the team they played the week before, Penn State, yeah, they lost last week to the spread as well. So you know where I'm going here. Game day, college game day was there in Utah last week for the big showdown with Oregon and Utah got their doors blown off. So the knee-jerk reaction would be, oh, hey, Utah's going to bounce back here. Well, they've got 2 losses now. And if you look at the Pac-12, they have been the champion the last 2 seasons. They still controlled their own destiny heading into last week's game against Oregon with the 1 loss. But now that they have 2 losses, they don't control their own destiny. They got to win out, obviously, and get some help. But the final nail in the coffin here, I'm looking for the hangover from them. That's why I want to go against them. But look at the scheduling spot. They've got Washington on deck next week. You can't get a bigger sandwich than Oregon last week and Washington on deck. I've got Arizona State coming in here looking to get off the snide from their they did break their losing streak last week, and they're going to come back this week, I think, with another monster effort. They put up over 500 yards last week. And granted, it was against Washington State, but this Utah offense is not an offense that I trust unless it's going against a totally crap defense. I like Arizona State. I don't think they pull the outright upset, but I see this as a 1-possession ball game. I'm getting double digits. Give me Arizona State plus the points.
So you talked about this being a bad spot for Utah. I want to ask you why it's not a bad spot for Arizona State, every bit as much of a bad spot. This is a team that had lost every game since the opener. And finally, last week, scratch, claw, get the win. Oh, now we're 2-6. Exhale spot. Going on the road, playing in the cold. Is this really an Arizona State spot? Because it feels to me like it's every bit as bad a spot for the Sun Devils as it is for the Utes.
Granted, having a West Coast team go play in Utah in November could not be an advantage. I can't argue that point with you. But this Arizona State team, they are a scrappy team. Even though they had all of those losses, the 6 losses in a row, over their last 5 games, Teddy, they're 4-0-1 against the spread. This is a team that's still coming to play every week, and I think that will continue here. It's just I don't trust Utah laying double digits. You know, this is a team that they haven't had all year their star quarterback, Cam Rising, and it's not an offense that strikes fear in me. I'm going to go ahead and take the points with the team that I know can score. Now, obviously, if we get a snowstorm or something up there in Utah, that's going to change things a bit. But right now, I like Arizona State.
I like a snowstorm in Utah, Marco. That sounds like ski season is getting close. Marco D'Angelo joining us, everyone. He's going to look at the Arkansas-Florida game. After that, we've got What Did Bettors Learn? Andy Lang coming on. He's got a prop bet in tonight's football game. Another prop bet on the big Dallas-Philadelphia game, and a prop bet in NBA. Kyle Anthony at the end of the show. He's got 2 UFC bets. We do have a big game breakdown and an NFL marketplace segment. I will take care of the Thursday night football game. I'll give you a clue ahead of time, guys, and I will tell you why. If you like this shirt, head over to wagermerch.com. Marco, I think this is one of the best slogans on all the shirts. Like, I am loving this shirt. Have you gone and taken a look at the site yet? I have connections. I can get you a deal.
You can get me a deal. I will have to check that out. If that's saying, I like that one. I also like when in doubt, just add dog to the end of that too. When in doubt, take the underdog.
Well, we have actually Art DeCesar texted me on Friday. He went through the website and we have I love ugly dogs. And that was his favorite slogan. So guys, check out Wager Merch. Also, hit that like button if you like what we are talking about. I'm getting a lot of love, Teddy, right now in the chat room. Yesterday, Marco, I gave out Colorado team total over, St. Louis team total under, Colorado -2.5, and the under in the game. I gave that out on the daily presidential address, all 4 cashed. Of course, my client play lost, but all 4 of those cashed. So if you want more, hit that like button, everybody. My brother, co-founder of WagerTalk, Arkansas at Florida. How do we bet this game?
Oh, guys, we're looking at an Arkansas team that they're 2-6, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it. They might be the best 2-6 college football team in the country. This is a team, they have lost by 7 points or less in 5 of their 6 losses this season. That starts me out looking at Arkansas. Then I look at the fact that Arkansas has had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. So you know you're going to get a max effort from them trying to right the ship, because technically they're not eliminated from a bowl game yet until they get that 7th loss. The other spot here is looking at Florida. This is a team I just absolutely do not trust. They're coming off of playing the big game against Georgia. Playing the double defending national champ is one thing. Add in that's a big rivalry game with Florida, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. And, they got LSU on deck. Do you think that they're really going to be totally focused for this 2-6 Arkansas team? Arkansas, road dog this year, 3-0 against the spread. In Florida, you can count on them for one thing. Over the last 3 seasons, when they're a favorite, you want to bet against them. 6-16 against the spread. I see no reason for that pattern to change. As I said, with the 2 weeks to prepare, with the possible hangover with Florida off of the Georgia game, I'm taking what I feel is a very live dog here, and I'm going to go all the way. I'm going to go out on the limb here and call for the outright upset. I've got Arkansas winning 31-27. Take the Hogs.
So Arkansas had a coordinator change. They've lost 6 in a row. Is this a team that's really coming up? I mean, the point spread's a great equalizer, and this point spread's less than a touchdown. We've seen a fair bit of Arkansas money. We're actually looking at 5.5s right now on the WagerTalk Live on screen. So it's not like Florida has to win this game by margin. And Arkansas is a team that's found a way to lose games all year long. The offense is good, the defense stinks. The defense is good, the offense stinks. They scored 3 points last time out. Is this a team we really trust in this point spread range?
At this point spread range, like I said, Teddy, again, they're getting 6 in 5 of their 6, 5.5 or 6, wherever you're finding your number. But this is a team that's been competitive in their losses. This is not like a 2-6 team that's getting blown out by 20 or 30 points. Now, the problem with a team like this, and I will, say that to you, and that's where you hit your live in-game wagering. Sometimes if something goes wrong during the course of a season or game, I should say, a team that has a bad record, you can get that, here we go again scenario, and then it snowballs out of control. But I don't think you're going to get that given the extra time to prepare. If they didn't have the 2 weeks to prepare for this game, I probably would not. But with that extra time, just like I do in the NFL, Teddy, if you go into a bye week on a roll, it's a momentum stopper, in my opinion. You go into a break on a bad note, losing 6 in a row, you can't get any worse than that. You're going to use that time to your benefit, and I think you're going to get a good game out of them in this one instance here, and then we'll reevaluate. If they don't show up here, then they're a fade the rest of the way.
Marco D'Angelo, Marco Starchild, one of our most loyal listeners, he could not disagree with you more, which, by the way, Starchild, is totally fine. But there's no reason for caps, brother. We're all in the chat room together. You don't need to scream at us. We love you. We appreciate you. And look, it is hard enough for Marco to come up with client plays, let alone being thrown on this show to come up with more plays, plus bet on it and everything else. Marco, you have a college football bet tonight for your clients and an NFL bet. You are on an 8-2 run since Sunday. Congratulations on that. Outstanding work. What do you have to promote?
You just promoted it. You can pick up that package tonight for $29. But guys, if you want all of my plays or all of the plays of any of the cappers at WagerTalk, check out the end of year promotion that we've got. $469 gets you all access, all sports to your favorite capper till December 31st. That is the best value. So there, I did a plug for you guys. You don't have to do later in the show the $469 special.
Yeah, well, thank you, Marco. Outstanding work, brother. Teddy covers. We got so much more to discuss. Let's start with what did bettors learn last night?
So Chris Allen, behind the scenes at WagerTalk.com,
awesome guy,
was kind enough to pass me along a comment that I did not see yesterday, asking from Chris Wyorka. I believe I'm Wyorka. I believe I was pronouncing the name. He asked me to break down Occam's razor, and it's worth a Google if you want a ton of info on this. But I talked about it a few weeks ago when I was making fun of people that are saying everything's fixed. And I was asked for a little bit more clarification, so I'll do it right here. In philosophy, Occam's razor is a problem-solving principle that says look for the explanation that's constructed with the smallest possible set of elements. The principle of parsimony, meaning if there's possibly 10 things that cause this versus possibly one thing that caused this, we tend to look for the simpler explanation. The simplest explanation is usually the best one. A vase falls from your shelf. There's no one in the house. There's a cat in the house. The simplest explanation was the cat. The less simplest explanation, it was an act of God. There was an earthquake. You wouldn't believe what happened here. We look for simpler explanations because they're more likely to be true. In sports betting, we try to analyze. We do a lot of forward analyzation and we do a lot of backwards analyzation. We're trying to analyze why a team performed the way they did in any given game. The previous game, the previous 3 games, the previous 5 games. They played better than expected. They played worse than expected. Occam's razor is going to tell you that when you look for these rationales, trying to figure out why a team performed better or worse than expected, in general, the simplest explanation is the best explanation, which is often they just had a bad game that day. There's a little Occam's razor breakdown. Thanks for the question, Chris. Best of luck tonight. Lawrence?
Can you never discuss this theory again?
When someone asks me about it, I will discuss it. And that's what you said last time I talked about it.
No, last time I said, what the hell are you talking about? But listen, dude, I mean, okay, outstanding work on Occam's razor. I need a razor. My mustache looks utterly idiotic. Vivian is not happy. But, Teddy, we're 1 day into Movember. We've already raised over $200. And every cent counts. So, we have cancer is a big thing in the world today and affects a lot of males, especially testicular cancer. Don't think that one affects females very often. But in this day and age, you never know. So, guys, on my Twitter feed, you will find a link to my Movember page where you can donate money for a good cause. I am going to suck up this idiotic nose hair situation for the next 30 days. The least you can do is donate $2, $1, and have a good laugh with me, because I couldn't look any stupider. But I will tell you this, Teddy, looking at your elongated, extremely pale face, I'm guessing that you would look way worse than me in a mustache. And I'm like 1 out of 10. No.
I can do a goat. I can do a beard. I can't do a mustache. I look good.
Oh, I think I remember you with a goat once. You had one,
I'm
right?
sure. Well, at some point this winter, we'll probably, usually during the winter, at some point, I stop shaving for a while. As soon as I start to sweat in the spring, it comes off. So, yeah, we'll get there. But it hasn't happened yet. It's still nice here in Vegas.
Yeah, well, I'm coming down December 4th to the 13th. I'm playing in the WPT at the Wynn. I'm playing the 1600 Bounty and the 1100 5 million guarantee. If you guys are down there, DM me in Twitter. Andy Lang joining us. And Andy, anything to add to the show so far?
No, I think you guys have been doing good. Love Marco's breakdown. Love a good Razor talk. And it's really interesting, Teddy, you brought that up. I was just talking this morning about keeping things simple and how I've kind of gotten away from that. I've gotten a little bit too complex and complicated in some of the wagering, and how keeping it simple ends up always being the right answer. So interesting discussion. I feel like there's an aura about it. Maybe the gambling gods are telling us that's the message today, is just keep it simple. So that was interesting. I was listening intently,
Andy,
unlike Prez.
Oh, dude, don't say I didn't listen intently. I didn't, but you can't just assume that. Andy, I love what you just said. And for me, and I say this in my analysis all the time, I mean, if you listen to the NFL presidential address or read my analysis, you hear the term, I don't overthink things. So I think that is, honest to God, one of the biggest problems facing handicappers all over, is this concept of overthinking, trying to get tricky. Is it a trap? Are they trapping us? All this stuff. Teddy, you want my weight in here. I don't buy traps. I don't buy it. If it's too good to be true, I'm all over that. So that's how I handicap, Teddy.
Well, I mean, every point spread is there for a reason. Okay, a quote unquote trap line is there because there's clearly sharp support for the other side. So that's why again, Occam's razor, we're looking for simpler explanations. If it's a trap line, that means there's money for the other side. And if you don't know where that money's coming from, it's probably wise guy money.
Addicted Lawyer asks, Prez, are you a passive or aggressive poker player? Teddy, what's the answer to that question?
I don't know.
I used to be passive.
Very.
And now I am extremely aggressive and
sometimes
addicted. Addicted. A lot of that has to do with your bankroll. It's so hard to go into a huge poker tournament in a rebuy situation with 1 or 2 bullets and play aggressive. The more financially stable you get, the more aggressive you can be. So I think ultimately my aggression is also dictated by the fact that I can afford to lose the money. Andy Lang, Kenny Piggott tonight. Is he going to get an interception or is he not?
Keeping it simple, no, he's not going to throw an interception. He threw 4 of these interceptions in the first 4 games. He's not thrown any in the last 3. Tennessee Titans, they do not intercept the ball very much. They have 2 entire interceptions this year. That is by far worst in the league. And interesting here, the last 3 weeks, the Titans, you can run on the Titans. They were a really good rush defense early in the year, but not so much. They've given up 140, 139, and 193 the last 3 weeks. So I would expect the Steelers to protect the ball. The point total tells you this should be a low-scoring game. I expect both teams to have success running the ball. And then you've got this, Kenny Pickett. He is playing hurt tonight. So there's a small possibility he doesn't even finish this game. So a lot of things going into this, but I don't expect a whole lot of Kenny Pickett passes. Titans are not a team that intercepts the ball a lot. So give me the no interception on this one.
Minus 130. Pickett, no INT. It's worth noting we have seen money for Pittsburgh over the last 10, 15 minutes. The 2.5s are getting bought up. Mostly 3 right now for the Steelers tonight. And yes, the line is on the move as we speak. Let's talk a little marquee matchup. Late afternoon action on Sunday. The Eagles and the Cowboys. Dak Prescott over under 250.5 passing yards. We going over or under with the Daxter?
Taking the over on the Daxter. I love it.
Well,
I
Andy,
love the
he's
over
really
too.
cool, dude. I mean, Teddy just
Daxter.
showed a level of coolness that we can't go there.
Yeah, Daxter over 250. This is Philadelphia. That is now number 1 in rush defense. They are only allowing 65.5 rushing yards per game. And if you're like me and you have Tony Pollard on your fantasy teams, the Cowboys aren't even really trying to run him that much. They're not having a whole lot of success running the ball. I don't know why they would have any success against Philly in this one. And Philly is the 7th worst pass defense. They give up 247 yards per game. He's easily gone over the last 2 games. He's had 304 and 272. Brandon Cooks is finally healthy. We talked about Brandon Cooks. We took his unders because he was hurt. He looks to be much better now. So you've got CeeDee Lamb that's firing on all cylinders. We saw Jake Ferguson look good, catch a touchdown last week. Dak has a lot of weapons. He was almost at 350 yards in the game he played against Philly last year. Teddy, I did a video for the YouTube channel in this game. I think it goes over, mostly because I think these 2 quarterbacks are going to have a lot of success throwing the game. So I see some points. I see the teams being able to move the ball through the air. So give me Dak over 250.5.
Dak over 250.5 on Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's shift our focus to the NBA for tonight and talk about a prop. You're interested in the Raptors-Sixers game. Of course, Toronto hung 130 on Milwaukee last night, a wire-to-wire blowout victory. Philly in their first game since trading James Harden, although Harden hadn't played for them yet this season. You want to talk about Dennis Schroeder, the Toronto Raptors point guard. What are we going to do with him this evening?
Yeah, what is this crazy resurgence with Dennis Schroeder? He looks great, even going back to with the Lakers, and then over the summer he looked great in international ball. And I think they got this rebounds and assist line too low. It's 9.5, and I will absolutely take 9.5 over rebounds plus assists. He could do this just with assists. Now he's really good control of this Raptors offense right now. He's the main facilitator. The Raptors are heavily depending minutes-wise on their starters, and their starters didn't have to put that much effort into the second half against Milwaukee. And he's playing this Philly team. Philly gives up 7 rebounds and 7 assists to point guards, so that's 14 rebounds and assists. And sure enough, when you know it, he had 14 rebounds and assists against Philly earlier. So I think this line's too low, especially when he can absolutely get this just with his assist. He grabs a couple rebounds. I think he goes over this pretty easily tonight.
Andy Lang joining us, everyone. Also, an anonymous donor just sent some money to my mustache page. Thank you, brother. And also, the best way to donate money anonymously. Andy Lang, what do you have to promote?
Let's promote keeping it simple. Let's just promote that. Let's not promote plays. Let's just promote being in a better headspace, and let's promote keeping it simple, and the money will surely follow. How's that?
Deep thoughts from Andy Lang. Did you say that in front of the mirror?
No, but Teddy inspired me. I do appreciate that, Teddy. That really spoke to me. So I feel better today.
Teddy covers. You spoke
Inspiring
to Andy.
words.
Wow,
Inspiring.
brother. Dude, I'm pumped. Okay, so one of our listeners asked a question on, do you like the under in the Duke game? That's my answer. I have no opinion on the under in the Duke game, but when in doubt, Teddy, bet the damn under.
Sure.
Big game
and,
breakdown
from all
time.
indications,
Oh,
Duke won't have their starting quarterback tonight. Right.
There you go.
The market.
Actionable information from Theodore Kowarewski. See, I'm cool too, bro. The Daxter. It's time for your big game breakdown.
Let's do it. Big game breakdown time. Let's talk some NBA for Thursday night. The Phoenix Suns at home against the San Antonio Spurs. Right now, looking at the WagerTalk Live odds screen, I'm seeing the Suns minus 8.5 full game, total 226.5, 4.5 for the first half for Phoenix. And that's the case I'm going to make in this one for the Phoenix Suns. First half, first quarter, first to 10, first to 20, wherever you want to go in terms of Phoenix taking control of this game early. San Antonio flat out stole one on Tuesday night. And really, it was a steal, literally and figuratively. The Spurs came into the game. The Suns came into the game. They'd won 8 straight against the Spurs. They led by double digits the whole way. They led by 20 most of the way. And then in the fourth quarter, things started to tighten up. And then Keldon Johnson with a steal off of Kevin Durant, inbound to Kevin Durant, layup at the other end with 1.2 seconds left. They're the only lead of the game for San Antonio, a game they won by a single point. Now, regular season revenge in the NBA is pretty meaningless. It really is. There's one notable exception. When teams play each other back-to-backs. The team that lost the first game comes out again and again with better effort the second time. The team that won the first game again and again, they come out there a little bit flat and happy, a little bit fat and happy. And we saw the Knicks and the Cavs in that exact situation. The Knicks won at Cavs on Tuesday. The Cavs still shorthanded, got their revenge on the Knicks last night. When we talk about the rematch here, San Antonio, they're not going to win a whole lot of games this year. Very much a young rebuilding squad. Phoenix is. I like the quote from Frank Vogel, Suns head coach. Quote, "We let our foot off the gas a little bit in the third quarter. It's an early season lesson for us. Teams are never going to stop playing, especially in the modern NBA, when threes can get you back in the game." Now, Phoenix, for the full game, they shot better than 50% from the floor. They shot 46% from three. They made 18 three-pointers. They're not going to shoot much better this time around. I worry about the full game margin. But when it comes to coming out of the gate and punching San Antonio, I think the Suns will do it tonight, even without Booker, even without Beal. Give me the Suns first half. And again, the first to 10, first to 20, first quarter, no argument. If you want to diversify your portfolio with some wagers on those as well. Lawrence?
Back to you, Lawrence. Where was that, dude? I missed my back to you.
We got to change it up. You can't do the same thing every day.
You threw me.
You got to
for a
change,
loop okay, well,
Sure.
Well,
And, it's the same thing with Dak Prescott. Usually call him Mr. Prescott or Dak. Today we got to go Dak. You got to change it up, dude. If you do the same thing every day, you get the show gets stale.
Okay, well, we never would want that at all. Anyway, guys, we still have Marketplace coming up, Kyle Anthony, and of course the daily presidential address. We do need to get to 125 likes. I've got 2 NHL bets for you. I got an NFL prop bet, and I've got a breakdown on the NFL game. So make sure we get to 125 likes. Also, guys, I won my NBA play again last night on Utah. It was easy. I've now won 7 NBA games in a row. I am going for 8-0 tonight. Here's what's going down in the world of the Prez. I've got 1 NHL play up for my clients. I'm on an 11-3 NHL run. I have 1 NBA play up for my clients. I'm on a 7-0 and 10-1 NHL run. I have 1 NFL bet and 1 NFL prop up, and I'm on an 11-5 NFL run. I am killing it right now. I'm in the middle of the run of the year for me. So 4 plays, All access customers, get them all. Head over to WagerTalk and grab that. Teddy Marketplace NFL style part 3. The Kansas City Chiefs. Are you buying or selling on this team?
I don't know if I'm doing either, to be honest. I mean, Kansas City's the best team in the NFL. Okay, my power ratings have them. So this isn't a value team you're going to find this great value on. And yet, when we talk about, all right, are they an overvalued commodity? I don't think they are. I don't look at Kansas City and say, oh, every week they're priced too high. They're priced way too high. I'm not seeing that in the marketplace. So I don't have a buy or a sell on KC. What about you?
I have a sell on them, Teddy, and I don't think they're the best team in football right now. Me and you are not seeing it the same.
Who's
they
better?
Are 5. I think San Francisco is better than them. I think Philadelphia is better than them. I think the Detroit Lions are better than them. So I'm not now. That doesn't mean I don't think they're great, but they are Kansas City. People love to bet this team. They're only 5-3 ATS. They didn't cover a ton last year, and I just don't feel until they get a proven wide receiver. I'm just not buying on Kansas City. But I am buying on the Minnesota Vikings, Teddy, especially now with Kirk Cousins out. Obviously, that's bad for their playoff hopes, but I think it's good for their betting. I think the Vikings are a buy team. I think everyone's going to overreact. Everyone's going to jump off their bandwagon. They got an easy schedule for the next 5 weeks. I'm a buy on Minnesota. You?
No, I'm not a buy on Minnesota, and this is why. They can't run the football, and they don't have a good defense. So if you're talking about buying a team with a backup quarterback, no matter whether it's Dobbs playing next week, whether it's Hall, it's a significant drop-off at QB. Their offense was Kirk Cousins. Their defense doesn't stop the run. Well, doesn't stop the pass. Well, they can't run the football. They have to throw the ball downfield. I understand the markets have crashed on Minnesota. Of course, their best offensive players are hurt, Jefferson and Cousins. But I don't see them getting stops, and I don't see them scoring points. So they're not a team that I'm excited about putting my money on moving forward, at least not right away. And certainly not this week. What's the next one you want to talk about? Let's talk about the New Orleans Saints.
The New Orleans Saints. And I got nothing here, bro. I want to hear your thoughts on whether this is a buy or sell team.
This is a buy right now. The Saints defense has been there. The offense was not in sync at any point over the first half of the season. I mean, really struggling to get Dick Carr on the same page with the receivers. Offensive line wasn't good. The running game wasn't there. They couldn't move the football. Last week and the last 2 weeks, we've seen the Saints start to move the football. The offense start to click. And if this, we know how good the defense is capable of playing. The defense that held everybody to 20 points or less for a dozen straight games. All that offense has to do is click a little bit, and the Saints are big buy. So I got to buy on New Orleans right now. It's the only way I would either it's Saints or pass if I'm betting a Saints game. How about Carolina off their first win last week?
I think they're a buy team, Teddy. I think this is a team that came into the year with a defense that was supposed to be at least good. They ended up being the worst in the league, but they did have a good game last week against Houston. I think they are going to have some confidence moving forward, and I think they're a team that might fall under the radar. Let's not forget the worst teams in the league. Well, there's a shirt at WagerTalk at wagermerch.com that says, I love ugly dogs. That's what Carolina is. I think they're a buy team moving forward. You?
So they have a decent defense. They're likely to continue to be playing in low-scoring games, which may give them value catching points. But I don't want my money on the very worst teams in just about any sport. And Carolina is one of the worst teams in the league, however you want to measure it. Offensively, they're not going to get better. They lack playmakers. They have a rookie quarterback. They have a weak offensive line. If they fall behind by 2 scores, they're done. And those aren't value teams for me. So, no, I don't know. I'm not selling the Panthers, but I'm certainly not buying them.
Kyle Anthony joining us, everyone. Some UFC talk on the way. Kyle, how are you, brother? Welcome to the show. Nice to have you.
Good, man. I'm feeling good. No UFC last weekend, so I had my bye week. That was my bye week last week. Now we're back in because what is there? 52 weeks in a year, like 46 events. It was nice. It was a bye week.
So, Teddy, over and under 2.5 women on Kyle's bye week?
Under.
Under.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I'm like going over for the first hour of his week. The dude just goes to the grocery store and stands in the produce section and walks out with more than 2.5. Come on, Teddy. Almeida versus Lewis. How do we bet this fight?
All right. Well, we got Jailton Almeida here. He's big favorite here, minus 500. The comeback, we've got Derek Lewis plus 380. Now, Almeida, big guy, strong, powerful, but for the heavyweight is a little bit undersized, but he is explosive, black belt in jiu-jitsu, high-level guy. On the other side, you've got Derek Lewis, big power, vet of the UFC. Now, obviously, the main path here for Almeida is going to be the takedowns. He's going to look for that control time. He's going to look for that takedown. He's going to sell out for it. He's not going to be a guy that you're going to see kind of trying to knock out the striker. He's going to be selling out for the takedowns, chain wrestling it, and getting it down. Now, the most impressive thing, and probably why this line is so incredibly wide, is the fact that Almeida has 5 UFC fights. He's been hit twice. Out of 5 fights, he's been hit significant strikes twice. It just shows that he is minimizing any of the damage that comes his way, which really doesn't bode well for Lewis, who needs to land the big shot, needs to land the big bomb. But he's so good. Once he gets you down, Almeida is able to be very methodical. He can be patient. He will keep you on the ground. He'll slowly start to work towards those submissions. And that's going to make things tough for Lewis, where Lewis, he's a guy that, yes, he can be explosive in certain spots where he does a jumping knee first round knockout he just had on DeLima recently. He has a big power switch kick, but these are things that are far and few in between. He doesn't really go out there and throw a bunch of these. He'll be stagnant, and then all of a sudden he kind of explodes. I think this lapsing in time, lapsing in action is really where Almeida's going to really feast. He's going to be able to go down, get the takedowns, get the control time, and start hunting for that finish. He has a 100% finish rate. 12 submissions, 7 knockouts. So this guy, if he's in there, he's getting the finish. Now, when you also look at this, is the only issue that you can look at Almeida is his cardio. Now, this guy, again, he's getting these finishes very quickly. He's getting the job done. Out of his 19 victories, he's only seen the second round 3 times. So even in those times where we've seen him kind of get into that second round, he does slow down. And that could be an issue. Now, when he starts moving up the ranks, he's going to fight guys that are going to be absolutely tougher. He's not going to run through everybody. I mean, strength of schedule here. I mean, Almeida has beaten some low-level guys like Parker Porter, Shamil Abdurrahimov, Anton Chikali, while on the other side, Lewis, I mean, killers. You mean Sergey Pavlovich, Sergey Spivak, Tai Tuivasa, Cyril Gane. I mean, these are very high-level guys. Now, the issue is going to be, can he get him down? Can he get the control time? I think so. I mean, obviously, I think he's going to be able to get him down. I think it's going to be tough early, and I think that's going to shock some people because this first round is getting pounded. I mean, it's, I think it's minus 300 or whatever it is, 400 in the first round. I do like Almeida here, and getting off the big number of minus 500, I think that he gets this submission. I mean, it's anywhere from minus 115, minus 125. I think there's plenty of value in that spot. I also like, as a little sprinkle, the second round. That right now the total's at around minus 1.5 plus 250 on the over. I do see it falling in that second round, and just for the fight to end in the second round is around plus 500. So I think a little sprinkle on that second round, and then also have Almeida via submission minus 125 are my spots, but I definitely believe he gets that submission.
Saturday night in Sao Paulo, look for Almeida via submission in the minus 125 range, says Kyle Anthony. Kyle, let's talk about one of the fights on the undercard. I don't think he has any relationship to Bobby Petrino, but maybe he's his long-lost son. Vitor Petrino, minus 230 against Modesta Bukauskas, plus 190 for Bukauskas. What do you want to do in this undercard match in UFC in Sao Paulo on Saturday?
Well, this is a spot here where I really believe that Victor Petrino can absolutely run through Modestas Kapauskis. I really think he's got the ability. It's a great stylistic matchup, and there were a lot of inefficiencies on the Modestas side that I think that Petrino can really take advantage of. And I think first of it's going to be how hittable he is. You know, Modestas is a striker. He wants to stand. He wants it pretty. He wants to be on the outside, maybe point fight a little bit, work at range, and that, you know, for a striker, okay, but also Petrino brings a lot of power as well, too. And you've seen what, you know, at times, Modestas, he is like tunnel vision. You know, he's basically looking at the striking, not looking at what's coming back. And again, his hands down, he's timid in the pocket at certain points. And the key for me here for Petrino to get this finish really is aggression and pressure with volume. And I think that's basically what he does every single fight. It works out perfectly in this situation. I think they want to get this guy a victory also. He is a Brazilian. I think they want to get him this victory as well, too, because he comes with a lot of volume. He comes with a lot of pressure. And the other side of it is that Modestas can be low volume. He doesn't really put out too much. There's going to be opportunities to land the big shot. Plus, this is the second stint for Modestas in the UFC. He had an 0-3 run in the UFC a couple of years ago. He's back. And in that 0-3 run, he was knocked out twice. And he lost to very similar guys to what Petrino does, going forward, throwing the big shots, getting in his face. So I think that's the path to victory here. I think he goes out there. He really pressures them. I think the defense is terrible on Modestas. I also like the fact that Petrino has added wrestling to his game. He can look for level changes if he needs to. He's a powerful guy. I think he'll muscle him down. So I really like this number inside the distance. It's around pick-em price, -110, -115 at certain books. It's not widely available, but it's out there. I think that's the spot to go to here, getting off the -230 number. Petrino inside the distance. I think he gets the job done.
Kyle Anthony, everyone. Kyle, Dan Alexander and I are talking on the side.
Oh, yeah. No, but whatever it is, don't talk again until you fix it. What do you have to promote over at WagerTalk.com this weekend?
Prez, chill out. I promote this week. Oh, man, Prez is a mess. This week, I have a 5% up right now. I actually have two best bets in this package here, a 5% and a 4%. Just added another play, a third play in this package here. 2 weeks ago, we swept the board, ended up picking up around 9 units on the night. So I'm expecting a lot of the same this weekend. Check it out on Wager Talk.
Kyle Anthony. Let's see. Do we have Prez back for his presidential address? Lawrence?
Working?
Is
Am
your
I
microphone
working?
fixed?
I don't think.
Yeah, you're fine, buddy.
Oh, I'm work. I don't know what happened there, but you should have seen the conversation Kyle and I were having about. Dan and I were having about Kyle, but I can't get into it now because we're running out of time and you got a hard stop. Daniel's son, it's time for the daily presidential address. Okay, guys, I got couple NFL bets to give out and a couple of NHL bets. Let's start with the NFL game tonight. Tennessee going into Pittsburgh. Total here is 37. And, well, when in doubt, bet the under. If you like this shirt, you can buy one for yourself at wagermerch.com. Check that website out. So here we go again, guys. We've been riding the Pittsburgh under, and we're going to ride it again and again and again. With everybody on Pittsburgh, when they were all healthy and ready to go, this team still averaged a whole 16 points a game, fourth worst scoring team in the league. Now they're coming into this game where they are not that healthy. Pickett is day-to-day. He is likely to play tonight, but he does have rib issues. And either way, who gives a shit? Even with Pickett around, they are 1-6 to the under on the season. The Titans are 2-5 to the under all year. And I know that this might all change now that Will Levis is their quarterback, and we saw him bomb the ball last week to Hopkins a few times. Until it happens more than once, I don't buy it. This Tennessee team has defined itself over the last 3 years. They're a team that wants to run the ball first, throw play action passes, keep the clock moving, focus on ball possession, and grind games to a frickin' halt. Tennessee is a bottom 10 team in the league in points scored. the fourth worst passing team in football. Bottom line, we have a simple story here of two teams that struggle to score, two teams that play conservative football, and two teams with good defenses. And yes, Tennessee does have a good defense. Not great, but they've allowed teams to score an average of only 20 points a game. I'm not going to overthink this. Razor, Diem, part something or other, Occam style, whatever Teddy said. Keep it simple. We're playing the under. As for your NHL bets tonight, I like the over in the Chicago game, guys. Over in Chicago and Arizona. Not Chicago. I like the over in the Arizona-Montreal game and San Jose plus 188 for their first win of the season. That's it for the show. Teddy, take us home.
It's surely worth noting that the only game that the Steelers went over the total this year came via not one, but two defensive touchdowns for Pittsburgh in that game against Cleveland. So they're not going over the total easily, at least not thus far. That's going to wrap it for the Thursday edition of Wager Talk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow, same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. If you like the show, we appreciate all the thumbs up. We appreciate all the follows. Tell your friends. We'll see you guys tomorrow right here on Wager Talk Today. Between now and then, enjoy the games and best of luck with all your wagers.